one of the better hot fixes to come around because I literally found almost nothing negative about this entire thing. Now, a bunch of good fixes, some slight changes that seem well worth it, and various other things. But to start off, for the Throne World, they fixed a network issue that could cause the destructible Pyramid Crux object used in many activities to desync state between client and host, causing several issues and confused players. Now, if you don't know what that is, during Wellspring Defend, as you're going down to fight the boss, you notice that there's a bunch of darkness cruxes that are above your head that spawn little things you have to break for them to go away. Yeah, that's what they're talking about. Sometimes you would break them, they would go away, but then it wouldn't progress and then it just reappear. That should be fixed, so hopefully you only need to break them once. As well, fix an issue where a third altar could be unintentionally active on the map for a short period, referring to Altar of Reflection, I believe. Now for Gambit, they fixed the big issue there where some perks were given PvE damage values as opposed to PvP. Specifically, things like Ariana's Vow will no longer one-shot opponents unless they've already taken damage from other sources, basically saying, yes, it'll take one bullet if your health is low enough. So, Vow of the Disciple, there's a bunch of fixes here for Rolk and Caretaker mostly. Fix an issue where an unintentional symbol could appear where one of Rolk's attacks met environmental geometry. Fix an issue where players could earn a lore entry while standing in front of one of two symbols. Fix an issue where players could shoot any symbol and pass the kill symbol check for lore entries. Fix an issue where players could disrupt the Caretaker midwife performance. Fix an issue where players could complete the Caretaker encounter and the activity would not progress. Fix an issue where Rolk encounter would be soft locked if players spread the leeching force as their final deposit occurs. Fix an issue where players could have raid banners up by planting them as the encounter begins, which I believe means no more infinite banner. Fix an issue where players could earn multiple lore entries by reloading checkpoints. Now, some fixes with the campaign itself. Fix an issue where players could circumvent death in the legendary campaign missions by leaving the fire team rejoining. Now, players that join in progress require revives to continue. Fix some issues preventing replayable nodes in the Witch Queen campaign from appearing on Throne World map for some portions of players. Fixed the displayed possible rewards for legend difficulty of the ghosts to include Ascendant Alloy, which I believe was one of the replayable missions that just didn't say it came with Alloy. And for Psyops Battlegrounds, fix an issue where champions inconsistently spawned in Psyops Battlegrounds. Now, some other changes for the UI, fix an issue where some key items were being highlighted as new incorrectly, which led to negative impacts of performance. And fix an issue where general game performance could stutter to drop in frame rate while character inventory UI was loading. Now, a bunch of changes for investment, mainly for the economy. Basically, Gambit weapon and armor focusing costs 10k Glimmer and 50 shards now, which is cheaper. Rahul's destination materials are now sold for stacks of 5 for 1 legendary shard, matching Spider's previous exchange rates. Fix an issue that was still allowing weapon telemetries to drop. They can delete them because they don't have use and never will again. Fix an issue where a Vanguard bounty, the harder they fall, could only be progressed in strikes. Fix an issue where the Omega Catalyst boost was rewarding 3 times progress instead of 4. So if you've been struggling to actually finish that just because of the effort will be a little bit less now. Fix an issue with the legendary campaign emblem, a higher truth, could not be equipped on platforms where the player doesn't own the Witch Queen, which is confusing considering why would they have access to the legendary campaign or an emblem from the legendary campaign if they don't own the DLC? Bungie, does that make sense? I don't think it does. Players who found themselves unable to unlock or acquire a light subclass should now be able to do so. Players should find the associated pursuits in their inventory when first entering orbit with space remaining for the associated pursuit. Fix an issue where Ritual of the Season Triumph could be progressed with PvE kills outside of the Vanguard playlist. Fix an issue where seasonal quest steps could be blocked if players had reached the Psionic Intel hit inventory limit. That was super annoying. And fix an issue where some Nightfalls were given inconsistent reputation bonuses when reaching a platinum score. Some strikes will now reward additional reputation while others will reward less. For weapon crafting, increased elemental crafting currency caps. For more information can be found at this TWAB. Basically, they said that the various elements were an issue, so they expanded the capacity for neutral element from 8,500 to 10k, I think it was, a solid 10,000, and every other element besides Ascendant Alloys can now go from 250 all the way up to 1,000 inventory space. And fix an issue where the sleight of hand trait perk had inconsistent crafting requirements, as well as Moment's Triumph 2021 title not being able to equip. That has been fixed. Now, some changes to gameplay. The explosive personality grenade launcher was not using the correct rounds per minute stat for wave frames. The crafting screen will still say the wrong one, but the actual weapon itself has the correct stat. Now, fixed an issue with the logic ornament for Lament where it appeared backwards, as well as the damage glitches for Lament and Worldline Zero are now working properly, so those should have the proper damage. And turns out Lament is super good to damage Rolk if you're using it right. Fix an issue where a faint box would be visible around the hipfire reticle when using a Steostriga or Forerunner. And now all glaives reach full charge after 4 successful projectile hits instead of 6. So every single glaive can, build to max shield or be able to use their special exotic perk after 4 hits of any shots, meaning any glaive can do it now, including the one that only has 4 shots. Armor. Fix an issue where the previous reduction of a melee recharge rate for Graviton Forfeit was erroneously applying in PvE activities. Fix an issue where the exotic Titan helmet Lordly Splendor would consume class ability energy upon death, basically if they got overshot and instantly died before their shields were depleted. Now, players must first acquire valid disciple raid mods before they can be applied to the armor for that raid, because for some reason I guess they could otherwise. Fix an issue where some armor was not appearing in the appearance customization screen even after it had been unlocked with Synthweave. Fix an issue where some rare armor sets could be infused. Fix an issue where focusing in Umbral Edgrim could sometimes give wrong armor to Warlocks. Now, for abilities, boss combatants no longer take additional melee damage when frozen by stasis. The Sentinel Titan's Bastion Barricade now takes 20% increased damage from player sources, including stuff like Hotgate Breach Armament's Origin trait or anti-barrier rounds. Now, targets with void invisibility active now ping the radar for 0.6 seconds every 3 seconds until invisibility ends. Normal radar visibility rules apply, i.e. double jumping or sprinting pings the radar. Note, this is because of feedback from the first week of trials after the launch of Void 3.0. These changes are targeted specifically for PvP and should not affect PvP or PvE at all. So if you're one of those Invis hunters that spends the entire round of a strike invisible, don't worry, you can still do that. And of course, they'll be adjusting these as they'll be nerfing and adjusting, buffing as the seasons go on. But of course, they'll adjust them more when more 3.0 systems are introduced. So, fixed an issue where Child of the Old Gods can damage some targets through immunity shields. While the child will not be put in timeout and now knows better, has been issued a heartfelt apology to all targets damaged through immunity. We are thankful to have such a good child, and we are proud of them. And lastly, PC fixed an issue where some overlays could cause game crashes, includes the MSI Afterburner and Razer Cortex. So that is the hotfix. Almost everything in there was good. Any nerfs actually felt well warranted, because, who wants to play Trials when you're up against 3 invisible hunters? Like, literally the entire game. That being said, my name is Matt Scorpion, and thank you for watching.
We live and we learn, we dream and we die. We stop being concerned, no chances keep on passing us by.